Hi, I'm Willie and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Tonight we're going to go over something real quick that I don't believe we've done before, and that is we're going to look at an actual UniFi video NVR. And this is the new model that's got over here. It's got the 2 terabyte hard drive, and on the box now it actually says supports up to 20 cameras. So it's UniFi video, 20 cameras, 2 terabytes, and it is actually a really sharp appliance. Now this box itself is actually really small, and no, I'm not going to do this in metric. This is imperial. So the box is 9 inches by about 6.25 by about 3.5 there. So, and it's got the nice white sleeve, the box does, like every other Ubiquiti product. So, I have seen these run with up to 20 cameras and have no problems. That being said, those units are on a battery backup, the network is pristine, and they are in a climate-controlled area. I also have these out in the middle of nowhere on poles in unweather and temperature regulated boxes, and they do just fine. So brown, standard brown cardboard box here, and we're going to open the box. Oh look, hey, it's the Amplify teleport. This device is amazing. The teleport is going with me everywhere that I go. It's awesome. Alright, so we open the box, and this is the actual NVR unit itself, and it comes in this little sleeve. It's got scratch resistant stickers on the front and back. So you're probably wondering, like, how big really is this? I am going to answer that question for you. It is 7.25 by 1. It's 1 inch. I don't know if you can see that or not. By 1 inch by 5.25. On the front of the device, we have a headphone jack, microphone jack, SD card reader. We have 2 USB ports, and these are actually USB 3, so you can put USB 3 hard drives on there. We've got the UniFi video logo. I don't know if that's for venting or what that is. We have a sleep button. That's a horrible idea. Please get rid of the sleep button. We don't need the sleep button unless you're using this as a PC. I'm assuming that there are other uses for these, so that sleep PC is built in there, but on my NVR I don't need a sleep button. And then I have the power button. On the side we have cooling fins. On the other side there's cooling slots, not fins, but cooling slots. On the top they've got the beautiful Ubiquiti logo. The bottom is going to have our serial number, model number. And then on the back we have a COM port here, little itty bitty, looks like some sort of a USB COM port. I've not seen that on the old ones, so I'm not 100% sure what that is. That's new. Then we've got 4 USB 2.0. We've got VGA, HDMI, Ethernet. We've got what is this other port? I'm going to look up power. Let's get out the quick start guide. The icon, the name of that icon is elusive to me at the moment. So we got the quick start guide, and then we've got the power adapter, the power cable, and then we have the upright doohickey. It's not a doohickey. It's the vertical support stand. Not a I like doohickey better. Can you guys change your marketing material so it says doohickey? But anyway, you can set this dude straight up and down in this little plastic thing like that. Alright, so let's look at the QSG and see exactly what that other port is, if it tells us. it says that it is not used at this point. So, and the QSG that's in here, even though it says it is for the 2 terabyte version, it also does not talk about that COM port that's labeled. So, and it also says that the VGA and the USBs on the back and the HDMI are disabled, not used, which is interesting. But the little port is very, very interesting. And this guy has a default IP address of 192.168.1.30. If you don't, if you don't have DHCP on your network, so 1.30 is the fallback address. And one thing that I'm looking for in here that I'm not seeing, and I'll show you this, is that these used to come, oops, with little rubber feet, and on the one side of the rubber feet there's a magnet, and the magnet would stick to this right here, these little metal things, and then when you put it on a desk, then it had feet, and it didn't slide around, and then it looks like there's a Kensington lock hole there. I'm going to pause this for just a second, make sure that when I drop stuff I didn't drop those little feet, because I'd like to show those to you. I'll be right back. So I did not drop the feet. This particular box just did not come with any of the feet. I don't know if they're not packaging those feet with this anymore, but yeah, I don't know. So I'm actually going to plug this guy into the network. We're going to boot it up. We're going to find it on the network. We're going to log in, and we're going to upgrade the software. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as much as it hurts me, I'm going to unplug my Amplify teleport temporarily, my setup here. And I'm going to plug the NVR into the network. We're going to come back, we're going to discover it, and we're going to upgrade it. I'll be right back. Alright, so you can see the NVR appliance right here underneath the Amplify teleport get up. And we can tell that it's powered on because it has the blue light. So we're going to give it a couple minutes to boot, and then we're going to try to discover it on the network. Alright, so I believe that sufficient enough time has passed for this to have booted. I fired up the discovery tool, and I am going to pull that up here in just a second. Apologize for any background noise. We have little chainsaws running in the back there. So let's pull up the Ubiquiti device discovery tool, and we can see that this NVR is showing up as it's on 192.168.66.219, and it looks like it's running version 3.73. So let's click on this guy. So one thing that you're going to notice that's a little bit different about running one of the Ubiquiti's NVR appliances versus running your own is they've got this nice interface where you should never have to SSH into this. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm saying that most people will not have to SSH into this. So this is what the interface looks like, and you have 3 places you can click. One up here that I think takes you to Ubiquiti's website. Is that right? Yeah. Then you've got this one in the middle, which is actually going to log us into the NVR software. As you can see, it's a :7443. And then there's actually this configure device over here. So let's start with that. If we click configure device, it's going to ask us for a username and password. And if I was a betting man, I would say that the default is UBNT. We never want to save that password. We're going to put UBNT in as our old password, and I actually just used UBNT as the new password. This will get changed before it goes in the field. And we get this nice screen. It's got 3 tabs: main, configuration, maintenance. On the main screen, it shows us our device name, the MAC address, the version of the software that we're running, the uptime, and the date. It also shows us the disk space. So you can see that it says we've got a total of 19 gigabytes, which would be basically 2 terabytes, and that we've got 1.8 terabytes free. If we go to the configuration tab, this is where we can change the device name, we can change the time zone, we can disable the reset button, we can enable SSH. By default, SSH is disabled, so you can enable that here, and then you can SSH in as Ubiquiti, which then actually, I believe, takes you over to root. You can leave the network configuration as DHCP, or you can set a static. And then under maintenance, you can change the password, reboot the device, power the device off, or they've got this cool button that actually will reset this entire Linux installation back to factory defaults. So if you SSH in, you can actually see how they do some of these things when you start poking around in the web server, and it's really cool the way they do this. And I actually have one of these that is paired with an UniFi device, and we've created special web pages inside of the web server, and we turn cameras on and off and all kinds of good stuff. But that's this screen, so we're kind of done messing with this. So we will go back to our portal, and we will click the UniFi video, and we'll click to log on. Of course, we don't have a CA cert, so we're going to get that. But now we should get the setup screen. So name your NVR, my NVR. It is Central Time. I agree. If we had a backup, we could click Restore Backup and import cameras and settings and the whole bit, but we don't have that. We're going to click Next. Set up a local admin account. Play how. Put our super secret password in there. Now, it went out and it found that there is newer software than what is loaded on the NVR, and it wants us to upgrade it. But we need to finish walking through this first, so I'm going to hit this, and on Setup Cameras, it says choose a password to use for your cameras. So instead of using Ubiquiti, this is a different password. And we will paste that in there. So now that is the password that the cameras will use. Now this is not true. This camera is actually managed. It's just on a version of software this NVR doesn't understand. Now this is 3.73. This is not the newest release. So if we click on Settings, we can go to NVR Settings. We can click on Updates. And you can see that 3.8.5 is the latest general release, and we can hit Upgrade. And it is going to upgrade. Once the upgrade has been completed, we will be presented with the login screen. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this upgrade run, and we're going to come back to the login screen, and then we're going to do a quick, real high level overview of this interface. We've been presented with a login screen. So we're going to log in, and you can see we're on version 3.8.5. So real quick, this interface is pretty simple. Any cameras that are managed, unmanaged, or otherwise show up will show up here. You can manage them. If they're managed, they will say managed. They'll give you a last recording, and you can do your live view. Map is where you can import a floor plan, and you can place your cameras on the floor plan. Live view will give you simultaneous live view of however many cameras you choose. The timeline feature, I don't really use that much, so you'll have to kind of play around with that. Your mileage may vary. You can see it's still got the beta tag. And then of course any recordings are going to show up under recordings. You can lock recordings. If you lock a recording, it will not be purged. It will stay on the NVR. Then what else? Down here we've got alerts. So what kind of alerts are available. Here it says that we can manage that camera. That is incorrect. So we can delete. We're not going to manage that camera. But then here we have users. This is where we can create users in groups. If there was one thing that I wish that the groups were a little different here, but if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. So, and you can also disable API access. You can do some really cool stuff with the API access, such as construction cameras that can log in, grab video, pictures, things like that. And then under settings, We can get the support file, download the configuration, connect this to video.ubnt.com, which is another conduit type service that Ubiquiti provides for these, so you don't have to expose them directly to the internet. Here's our camera password and a camera adoption token, so you can generate a token to adopt a camera if you need to do that. We've got our alerts, our time and date, SMTP email server, so if you want to get email notifications, you can configure that. And then over here you can turn on or off updates, statistics, camera discovery. You can plug in a Google Maps API so that you can use Google Maps for the map instead of like a PDF floor plan. Then under system configuration, you get your IP address, your MAC address, version, model name, so it knows which model this is. Here's our CPU usage, memory, and our disk. Configuration down here, space to keep free, 40 gigs, time-based purging. So this is where we say retain 1 week, 1 hour, 1 day. Tools down here, you can synchronize the recordings database. Here's that updates tab, statistics for CPU, memory, network, and disk, and then logs. If you're ever having errors, so you can see right here, I've got an error, unable to register NVR with cloud. Not sure why it's getting that because I never asked it to register with the cloud. Maybe it's just reaching out to Ubiquiti saying, hey, I'm here. Not sure why it's calling home. Maybe somebody can explain that to me. And then you've got your connection statistics here. So overall, I think that in a lot of situations this NVR is appropriate, especially maybe up to 20 cameras. You know, your mileage may vary on that, but 5 cameras, definitely you can buy this guy, throw it in, and it's going to work out for you. So if you've got any questions, post those down there in the comments. I'll see if I can answer those. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Please use those Amazon affiliate links down there. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.